It's good to have you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm sure the papers today would, we can't wait to have your input. So let's start off with the very first one. Let's go straight to the leadership. Very juicy front page there. At the top, court sentences Osinachi's husband to death by hanging. By the way, I saw your post on that, on your the niche, and I was able to go through it when you reported this news as well. Bandits abduct Kaduna district head's wife and daughter. Tinubu APC firm grip on inherited PDP structure. Grant waiver to defectors, say you are not tenants in APC. Shatima Gandhi receive Oborowori, Okowa, others into party. Defections exaggerated, won't deter coalition. El-Rufai replies them. Gunmen killed 10 at Benue drinking joint. Oof. And 37 blind candidates sit for JAM in Bauchi. That's another one. INEC asked NAS to expedite action on legal framework. Let's focus on court sentencing Osinachi's husband by death, to death by hanging. One story that got a lot of people cheering. What was your take on that?
Well, like you said, a lot of people were happy yesterday when that judgment came. It was like people were expecting that. I don't think also that there was any other way that judgment would have come, because the evidence was so overwhelming against the accused, who is now a convict. I've also argued here on this station that I'm not particularly a fan of the death penalty. The question you ask yourself, what do you do in a situation where someone takes another person's life? Do you go for the biblical eye for an eye kind of retribution in Judaism, or do you go for other forms of punishment, life imprisonment and all that? Look, no matter how you look at it, this is a very, very sad and ugly saga that we're dealing with. Don't forget that there are children in all this. They have lost their mother. Now, if this judgment is executed, they are also going to lose their father. They are going to become orphans. But that is also not to detract from the fact that the man was not also good to his children, because he also maltreated his children as much as he maltreated the wife until he died. The bigger issue we should be dealing with, for me, is what we do. Look, I've always also argued that marriage should not be a death sentence. If you are in a relationship that is not working out well, step out. Leave that marriage. It is better that you are alive and not married than that you are dead. In any case, if you are dead, you are no longer married. So what are you going to protect? There is this issue, we take religion to very absurd levels. And part of the reason why Osinachi remained in this relationship, despite its abusive nature, was because what are people going to say? If you die, people are still going to say something. If you are alive, people are still going to say something. So why do you live your life waiting for the validation of others who don't have any stake in what you are going through? If that woman had stepped out of that marriage as she ought to have done, at the time she ought to have done it, perhaps she could have been alive today. So the bigger lesson for me is that marriage is not a death sentence. If it's not working, it's not working. And whenever a marriage sours, and becomes abusive. The best thing, whether for a man, whether for a woman, because it's not necessarily against women in all cases. We've also seen men that have been murdered, stabbed to death now by their wives.
Yeah.
The best thing is to call it quits. You guys can even remain best of friends ever after. There are situations where living together becomes very, very inconvenient. And when you live apart, you find out that you have better relationship now going forward. And you guys can jointly take care of your children and all that. But everybody remains alive, everybody remains healthy, and
life goes on.
And life goes on. So it is a very tragic thing. Nigerians didn't expect anything less. They said it is a well-deserved common pass. The man got what he bargained for, but it is sad for everybody.
Really sad. I mean, like you've mentioned, sad for everyone, sad for the kids, sad for Osinachi, whose dreams have unfortunately just been cut short. But let's now move to the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune paper, we cannot face Tinubu in 2027 to work against him, Delta governor says. We'll come back to that, but Vatican announces May 7 to elect new pope. UTME says no rescheduling of exams for candidates. This is, of course, a statement from JAMB. They've arrested over 40 candidates for impersonation. Naira redesign, court strikes out 1 billion Naira suit against Buhari, Emefiele, CBN. World Bank water projects fail in Nigeria, scarcity lingers. Let's talk about the big story. We cannot face Tinubu in 2027 to work against him, Delta government says. Explains why Delta cannot remain in opposition for almost 10 years. Mass defections of Delta PDP to APC, a political tsunami, Tinubu says. I'm not bothered by defection of governors to APC, El Rufai says.
We cannot face him to work against him.
Exactly. We'll come to talk about this, but I believe we have Israel, who's joining us this morning. Good morning, Israel.
Israel Eforovo, are you there?
All right, we'll come back to connect with Israel, but I want us to talk about the story. Of course, because of the mass defections we've been seeing in Delta State, current governor, former governor have defected, and in response to the defection, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa said that he had been in the opposition for, all through his time in governance, as a governor rather, and that he tried his best, but they kept losing, right? So do you think that this is a move? He said he's doing it for the benefit of the people of Delta State so that they can be connected to the resources in Abuja. So do you genuinely believe that this is in the interest of the people of Delta State?
Well, former governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, who was also the vice presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 presidential election, knows that he's lying to himself. And the worst lie is to deceive yourself. Okowa did not join PDP, and Oborowere did not join PDP, the governor of Delta State, because of the people. They joined APC because of their own political interest. But of course, Nigerian politicians will always couch all their actions and inactions along, we are doing it for our people. What Governor Sharif said, that they can't face Tinubu and oppose him in 2027, it doesn't make sense to me. What has facing Tinubu and opposing him in 2027 mean? Is he in the first place supposed to support Tinubu as a member of the opposition party in 2027? Look, these things don't make sense. And this logic of we can't afford to be outside Abuja also does not make sense. For crying out loud, this is a federalism. States are not necessarily, these are federating states, and they have their powers derived from the Constitution as much as the federal government. You don't have to be attached to the apron strings of the federal government for you to make an impact. And you know where this becomes very, very ridiculous. The same people that are saying, no, you can't afford to be in opposition. No, you must align yourself with the center. The man they are aligning themselves with, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in opposition for more than 16 years. In 1999, he was elected on the platform of Alliance for Democracy. And even when in 2003, then President Olusegun Obasanjo succeeded in corralling the other 5 governors of the APC, of the AD, into supporting his second-term ambition. Tinubu was the only man who said no. And because he said no, Tinubu was able to retain Lagos State. The others, or Shoba and everybody, they lost their states. Now, when AD collapsed, Tinubu funded Action Congress. And from Action Congress, it metamorphosed into Action Congress of Nigeria. ACN. So for 16 years, when PDP held sway, Tinubu remained in opposition. Did that stop Lagos from making any improvement or from developing? After all the things they credit to Tinubu as having achieved in Lagos State, he achieved it under the platform of a political party that was in opposition to the government at the center. So all these shenanigans, all this, they don't make sense. They didn't join APC because of the people. They joined the APC because of their own selfish political calculations, which have nothing to do with the people.
All right. Let's, we have our man who's on ground. We'll come back to this conversation looking at the papers. We do understand that our man is on ground, Israel Iferobo. There is a walk for polio that's ongoing. It's in conjunction with the Lagos State government and UNICEF. And most importantly, Israel is, it's about an advocacy, a walk for polio, a major highlight of the 2025 World Immunization Week and, of course, the Polio Week activities. Israel, good to see you. Can you give us an update on what's really going on concerning this advocacy work?
Immunization Week, and just before you guys came to me, there was a walk. The walk is still ongoing right now, but what you can see right now is no longer the walk. They've walked past this place already, so they've walked further down. But it's all about awareness, creating awareness for the World Immunization Week. UNICEF, the Lagos State governments, they all came together, stakeholders as well, national rulers, just those that matter to ensure that this message gets to where it needs to get to.
Right.
But real quick now, let's just...
if you can hold that thought, for 30 seconds, we have to go on a very quick ad break. When we come back, we'll have you speak to the UNICEF head to give us full details on what the walk is about.
So now that you're talking is better. So all the time when you talk to us, it's our feedback that we hear, not you. So we just hear us talking. So this is...
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Our correspondent, Israel Iferobo, is on standby to bring us updates regarding the polio walk that the Lagos State government is handling in conjunction with UNICEF. Over to you, Israel.
So it's the World Immunization Week. Lagos State government in conjunction with UNICEF putting this together as a flag of the World Immunization Week. It's an awareness program to ensure that no one is left behind as regards to the eradication of polio in Lagos State and indeed in Nigeria. Real quick now, let's talk to the UNICEF chief here in Lagos, Sele. She's right here with me. Sele, good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is News Central Television.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So quickly, tell us, today is a flag off. Talk to us about it.
So this week is World Immunization Week, and today we're flagging off the campaign together with the Walk for Polio that we've organized with Lagos State governments. We were here this morning with the First Lady of the States, together with the wife of the Deputy Governor, UNICEF and WHO, all the representatives of communities, religious leaders, the parents and the children. What's important for us during this week, during this walk, is more than awareness. It's about educating parents to health and what matters for health. Vaccines are a very, very powerful tool to keep our children alive, to save them from dying from preventable diseases. That's what we need. Together, we were looking for commitments from the government to commit. We will do until there is no more zero-dose children, no more unvaccinated children. We cannot leave a single child unvaccinated to die from a preventable disease, something we should have prevented. We should have kept that child alive. So we want to debunk rumors. We want to stop misinformation. Together with commitment, with government, we're making this commitment to make sure that every single parent is educated to health and the health of their child.
Talk to us about vaccine hesitancy. I hear it's still a problem here.
It's still a problem in remote areas, sometimes not even in such remote areas. Vaccine hesitation, vaccine misconstruction, vaccine misinformation, rumors are still a reality, even in these Lagos. So it is important to understand that vaccines since the late 70s have saved more than 150 million lives. That means 6 lives per minute for the last 5 decades. It's a huge, powerful tool. Vaccines save lives. But to do that, you need to vaccinate your children, and you need to vaccinate them well. We're doing a campaign at the moment. We're bringing the vaccines to the households, to the parents, for their children to be vaccinated. But some vaccines take 1 jab, some vaccines take 2 jabs, some vaccines take 3 jabs. If you don't, as a parent, if you're not accountable for taking your child back to the PAC to have the 2nd jab or the 3rd jab, to make sure that your child is completely free and protected from those diseases, you have failed to protect your children, and you have wasted precious vaccines for other children. That is very important to understand.
What more do we need to know as you flag off this campaign?
Polio is resurging at the moment in Nigeria and in some other countries. So vaccinate your children against polio. Today, it's a 1-drop, very well-known vaccine. No stinging, no needle, just 1 drop. Very effective to prevent polio. Nigeria was polio-free a few years ago. It was declared polio-free. The virus is currently resurging. It takes 1 person to be infected by polio for 200 people around in the communities to take the risk, to be at risk of being infected and therefore being paralyzed by polio. Just take that 1-drop vaccine. Take your children to take it. It's a 1 shot. It's not even a shot. It's a 1 drop. It's an easy one. It's accessible. It's available. And at the moment during the campaign, it's at no cost. Please make sure as parents you protect your children against polio and you take them to be vaccinated.
Well, indeed, the message is clear. Make sure you vaccinate your children. It is very, very important. Something very key that Celine just said. There is a resurgence of polio in Lagos and indeed in Nigeria. And that's why this awareness is really, really important. Well, the work is still ongoing. It started from the governor's, from the wife of the governor's office. And we're heading down all the way here in Ikechukwu, and we'll try to get to so many places as we can as drive the message that no child must or should be left behind in terms of polio eradication. But that's all for now from here. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you so much, Israel. Well, it also shows that, like you said, it's 1 shot. It needs to be taken. And I'm worried. She said there's a resurgence of polio again in Nigeria. It's starting to...
I thought we were done.
Yeah, I thought we were, but she just confirmed that there seems to be a resurgence, and that got me wondering.
So it's important parents take their children.
Yeah, very important.
like drops, no
course.
longer jumps
as well. I beg your pardon. Okay. Let's,
I was trying to make a point about the defections in
Delta State
and why they don't add up at all. But beyond what I have said, let us even go to
the excuses of those who defected don't add up. Okay.
They don't at all. But let us even go to one point which people are missing. Look, democracy is derived from this Greek word, demokrasia. It is gotten from two Greek words, demos, which means people, and kratos, which means rule or power. So literally, what democracy means is rule of the people or power of the people. It was a system of governance in the Greek city-states in the 5th century, particularly in Athens, where literally, if we go back to what Abraham Lincoln said of government of the people, by the people,
for the people.
For the people. And why am I saying this? We miss a very important ingredient of the so-called democracy we practice in Nigeria, which is that the people decide who governs them. Now, in winning election, there are people who vote. There are two tendencies that people vote for. There are people who vote for political parties, and there are people who vote for individuals. If you ask me, I would say that those who vote for political parties and they believe that the manifesto of a political party will take them to a better place, they are more in number than those who vote for individuals. In 2023, I'm not too sure. Yes, Oborowori was the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly for some time. But you can count on your fingertips those who voted for Oborowori because he was Oborowori. Because nobody knew him, so to say. Many people voted for PDP as a political party because PDP had been the bastion of Delta State has always been there for the PDP since 1999. Now, when you wake up in the morning and you say you have taken the votes of the people, the power given to you by the people, and you transfer it to another political party that the people did not vote for, where does that leave the people? Those who voted because of PDP and those who voted on behalf of a political party. Now you have left them in the lodge. It is morally wrong for people to wake up in the morning. And you know, when the presidency tries to draw this moral equivalence, like Mr. Bayo Onanuga did in the statement he issued a couple of days ago, saying that it smacks of hypocrisy when former governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai, moves over to SDP, nobody complains. And then when some people move over to APC, people complain. There is no moral equivalent there because El-Rufai is an individual, a free citizen. He carries no mandate of anybody. So if he decides as a person to say that he's going to port, not to use the Nigerian slang now, to port from his party, APC, to another party, SDP, it is himself alone. But these people are in government, still carrying the mandate of the people, and it is morally wrong for them to take that mandate without the consent of the people.
It's almost like the people are an afterthought here.
Exactly, without the consent of
like
the people
who joined us
and moving to another political party.
And yet they say it's the people that sends them that they had to move. And the guest said, did they confront or...
Well, maybe not necessarily that the people send them, but they're doing it in the interest of the people. But,
Yeah, he drank from one... Governor Sheriff said he drank from one calabash and he drank from another calabash, so you can tell...
For you to say that it is the wish of the people, you must have a referendum where you now go back to ask the same people who voted for PDP to say, we want to take the mandate you gave to us, to take the mandate you gave to PDP, we want to transfer it to APC. Do we have your consent to do that? Because that is what democracy is all about. You can't continue doing all these political maneuverings on your whims and caprices and come out to say it is in the interest of the people. The way these guys are going, sooner than later, they're going to crash this so-called democracy. And it will be very, very sad that the people who have benefited from none of these characters, except perhaps President Tinubu, none of them, where were they in 1999, 1998?
Yeah.
When people were in the trenches, at least I was in the news magazine then. At least I knew what we went through. Bayo Onanuga can say the same thing. But where are all these Nakaratas who are masquerading now? Many of them were carrying bags for the military, for Abacha. Yet they are the greatest beneficiaries of the battle for which people laid down their lives. Don't forget, in the same 2023 election, some people died in Delta State fighting for PDP to win this election. Now you are spitting on their graves, taking the mandate they gave to PDP and transferring it wholesale to another political party without betting an eyelid, and you are telling us it is the wish of the people. The wish of the people, how?
So how should the people respond?
If the people have...
I mean, we're sure that there'll be bread and spaghetti as well.
A voice.
I mean, they can forget in 2 years. 2 years is a long time from now, so it's not like elections are next week.
Benga, and that's the irony, that's the dilemma that we are in. If it is a situation where the votes of the people count, of course, there will be repercussions. But votes don't count. And in 2027, it is even going to be more so that there will be no credible, free, fair elections in Nigeria. Because if there will be, look, people market themselves, leaders. And why leaders work so hard, particularly in their first term, is to have something they will bring to the table to say, look, these are the achievements we have made. Where is it? I doubt even those in government, if there is any Nigerian who will say that he's better off today than he was on May 29th, 2023, when Tinubu became the president. All the indices of development, no matter what they tell you, all the indices of development, and I challenge anyone to tell me what has improved since President Bola Tinubu became president on May 29, 2023.
I mean, they're going to tell you a whole lot.
Like what?
Student loans, tax reforms, 77,000 naira, 70,000 naira, NYSC
CNG adoption.
a reduction in the pump price of petrol after the initial increase because subsidy was gone.
And dollars
Dangote refinery.
You know what?
Dollars falling
we need to wrap up, really.
It wasn't the government that built Dangote refinery. In fact, if anything, Dangote has been battling this same government to survive. If not that he is Dangote, that refinery would have gone under on the weight of what the government has done since in the last almost 2 years. So all these things they are saying, now,
there are no achievements.
Now you did a policy that increased the pump price of petrol from about 200 naira to over 1,000. Now it is 900 in some places, and you say, oh, we have achieved. Is that what achievement is all about? Exchange rate has jumped from about 500 naira before you came in to almost 2,000. Now it is 1,500, 1,600, and you say, we have achieved. We can continue deceiving ourselves. We can continue lying to ourselves, but this is no way to make progress. They tell you in the president's speech last time, and I was here.
Yeah, I remember. Almost a year now.
Yes, he did say that they have attracted how many billions of dollars foreign direct investment. Where is it? He did say things are looking up. Where is security now? Are you safer today? Are Nigerians safer today than they were before President Tinubu came to office? What are those achievements that you can bring to the table and say, this is, or these are the things we've achieved in the last 2 years, and moving forward, this is where we want to take the country. Now,
I guess
sure
May 29 is around the corner,
exactly.
and on that day would x-ray all of
And we
this.
can even post to our audience. You can let us know on Twitter,
there's going to
on
be a
X,
poll.
at News Central TV, you know, what your thoughts are about the current administration so far. We'd like to read from you. Ikechukwu Amaechi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much
today.
for coming. But I mean, if I could give you Expo ahead of May 29, one achievement is that they've been able to go green and use renewable energy in Asura.
Let's not get into that
At a cost
conversation.
of
We've had it before, but let's not, because we need to get out of the studio. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to our audience, our viewers, as many who have been a part of the show, as well as our guests. We'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olive MOD.
And I'm Joe Hansen, and I'm telling you to join us tomorrow. Jasiri is up next, by the way.
And I'm Ben Gabor. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for always being great partners.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you,
This
Mr.
business.
And thank you, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi.
Thank you.
And thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.